It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss Brother Print Company. This is an unauthorized promotional video for Brother. I'm just doing it because I think Brother's got a great opportunity in front of them. If Brother's willing to put on the boxing gloves and fight for that opportunity, I'll be willing to help him fight for it. And that opportunity is a great opportunity, folks. And here it is. The United States government responded to Ninestar. Remember Ninestar? That PRC, People's Republic of China company that got banned by the Department of Homeland Security along with 8 subsidiaries for bringing products to the U.S. supply chain based on the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. That ban went in place on June 9th. We all know that Ninestar owns Lexmark, Lexmark's largest subsidiary of Ninestar. Lexmark wasn't in the ban, but at the end of the day, Lexmark, your days are numbered. And the reason I believe your days are numbered is because the government responded to Ninestar's lawsuit around the ban. And you know what their response was? Well, that'll be tomorrow's episode, but let me just give you a brief description of what the United States government response was to Ninestar's lawsuit. Oh, hang on a second. I'm not sure I'm allowed to use the middle finger on a End of the Day with Ray episode. I got to check with Human Resources really quick. It's okay to use as long as I'm talking about communists, ruthless dictators, people using slaves, organ harvesting, all that kind of stuff. You can always use the finger. Okay, that's great. I'm leaving it in. Brother, you got a great opportunity now to go after Ninestar, to go after the Phantom printers. We all know that Phantom is one of the subsidiaries that was banned along with Ninestar. We also know that G&G was one of the subsidiaries banned along with Ninestar. The only one that wasn't named in the ban was Lexmark, but we also know that Lexmark is Ninestar's largest subsidiary. Hell, without Lexmark, Ninestar doesn't even exist. So the people here in the free world have to make a decision. Are we going to give Lexmark money so they can give that money to the communist dictator, and that communist dictator can allow the PRC company that owns Lexmark to continue using slaves to make products? Is that what we're going to do here in America, here in the free world? Hell no, we're not going to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Ninestar, they file a lawsuit against the government. The United States government responds to the lawsuit. That'll be tomorrow's episode. But brother, put on the boxing gloves because you got an opportunity to take out Ninestar and all their subsidiaries, Lexmark included, because you got the equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, we all remember and think about our friends at Brother. By the way, that's a Clydesdale horse. But we think about Brother as the pony. A lot of us do for a long time. I mean, Brother owned the Soho space. They built a great print business in that Soho space. But guess what? I was at a show recently, and 2 things about that show. At that show, there was a Lexmark booth. At that show, there was a Brother booth. I got to be honest with you. Every time I looked at the Lexmark booth, there wasn't anybody in there except for the Lexmark salespeople, and most of them were looking at the ground. But over in the Brother booth, it was packed. And I'm thinking it was packed because the Document Imaging Channel, those friends of mine that sell supply and service print equipment, are looking for alternatives to Lexmark because they know it's only a matter of time before Lexmark gets rolled into this Ninestar ban. Our industry realizes that the end users we service and support aren't stupid. And they're going to start realizing that Lexmark is owned by a PRC company called Ninestar that's been banned over forced labor, and they're going to replace that equipment. And now Brother has Clydesdale equipment. It's not just the pony equipment anymore. They call it workhorse. Folks, they got equipment that could easily go in to businesses and replace all that Lexmark equipment. Folks, they could go into businesses and replace the oversold and overspec A3 equipment. And brother, when you replace oversold and overspec A3 equipment with Brother A4 equipment, you know what you're doing? You're getting all net new money. And we also know that there's at least one A3 provider out there. Let's just call him Konica, who's lost nearly $1 billion over the last 3 years, that I personally believe is about ready to fall off a cliff completely. So how much of that overspec and oversold Konica A3 equipment are you willing to go after, brother? Are you willing to put on the boxing gloves and fight? Because you got some great opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, I base those opportunities off a simple thing. I believe that dictator in China, he made the wrong bet, and we can't let him win the bet he made. And he's betting on our complacency in the industry. But we have an opportunity, whether it's Brother, whether it's Kyocera, whether it's some of these other manufacturers that want to get in and take out Ninestar and all of their subsidiaries out of the free world. Let's go do it. Let's get them out of the supply chain in the free world. We must say no to Ninestar and all their subsidiaries, and we must not allow that idiot dictator in China to win. Whew. I get fired up because I just can't stand PRC companies that use slaves in the manufacturing process. And I'm hoping that all my friends in the print world will throw Lexmark and all of Ninestar subsidiaries the hell out of our industry. And folks at Brother, you could do it. Brother's top line revenue for their FY 2022 was $5.4 billion. They had an operating profit of $372 million, and they had an operating net income of $262.5 million. Ladies and gentlemen, they had a $372 million operating profit, and they took a pretty big impairment charge in their Domino business unit. And that unit as a whole lost $39 million damn near, but they still came in with a $372 operating profit. Konica Minolta. They run around bragging about how great they are for all these years. Over the last 3 years, they lost $1 billion. The first quarter of FY 2023, they lost $30 million. They just ended the second quarter. Can't wait for those numbers to come out. But brother, you got great opportunities. As long as you're willing to put on the gloves and fight. Let's look at their print business. $3.3 billion for FY 2022, $245.5 million operating profit. The Domino Group, $676.7 million. That's that big industrial equipment. And folks, they're doing some interesting stuff at Brother in the industrial space. I'm going to watch that really close. I need to learn more about that. But that's where they had the impairment of the goodwill charge. It was $38.9 million. And at the end of the day, the company comes in with $372 million in operating profit. So they have fiduciary responsibility. They have discipline. Do they have boxing gloves in the closet that they can put on and go fight? That's the question. Brother, think about this. You really got to focus on this hard. You can easily replace the Ninestar and all their subsidiaries. You can replace it with your equipment. But the other thing you could do is you could take advantage of the decline in print in businesses. Because now more than ever, those end users are realizing every single day they don't need these overspec'd and oversold A3 machines anymore, and they could replace those with those Clydesdale Brother A4s. Brother, I want you to move more of your ink into the business space because I really believe that'll be the future. Your position, good to do that. But at the end of the day, it's all about fighting. And right now, our industry must be on the side of good. The United States government responded to Ninestar. That'll be tomorrow's episode. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, let's fight and get Ninestar and all their subsidiaries the hell out of the free world. And we need folks like Brother to join in that fight. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.